in honor of Dr. King, obviously, and to welcome the next generation of community organizers. It's always good to start off any activism, any march, or any protest with dance. Nelson Mandela had a similar philosophy. He started all of his protests and his activism, his marches off with dance, as well as Dr. King. In South Africa, they call the dances toi toi, and toi toi is a political dance used at protests in South Africa. They stomp their feet, they make political chants, slogans. It could be on the spot. All I'm trying to say is the Happiness Club is so dope. I'm just glad they give it up for the Happiness Club for coming out, y'all. That's awesome. Hey, they got us kicked off on the right foot. So we're here to talk about, the March on Madison to end gun violence in honor of JJ. Y'all probably wonder who is JJ, right? There's a lot of JJs in the world, but this JJ was a student of our program, a veteran of our program that was killed in North Lawndale not too long ago. And this March on Madison is so we can tell his story and tell a lot of stories of a lot of other JJs. A few years back, I was invited by an owner of a restaurant in Hyde Park to eat there for free. He invited me to a free dinner, and I was like, man, it's a free dinner in Hyde Park. It's amazing. It's beautiful food. It was a really good gesture of humanity by a great guy. And when I got there, I remember he pulled me to the side. He said, Jahmal, I said, what's up? He said, my friends and I, we're worried about you. My business partners, we're worried about you. And I was like, why y'all worried about me? He said, well, we saw on the news that your organization just gave out $1 million as a part of a small business relief fund. And we're worried. I was like, this dude's about to ask me for some money. That's what I was like, you gotta be about to ask, why would you bring me here to this fancy dinner? You worried about me for giving away $1 million? Why are you worried? He was like, we're worried about you because don't you know Dr. King died broke? Malcolm X, all your heroes, they didn't have no money behind to leave to their family. Are you saving enough money, right? Do you have a 529 plan set up for your kids' education? Are you getting a percentage of every donation that comes through your organization? You just gave out $1 million, man. We worried about you. And I was like, man, then my ego kicked in. I was like, I'm straight. Why is this dude worried about my pockets, right? I was like, I'm straight, man. But I was like, nah, man, we trying to be around for 100 years. I knew this was going to be a faith walk and a journey. The road is so narrow I can't. He's like, man, don't give me the political answer. He's like, we just saw that you got shot on TV. He's like, do you have a life insurance plan? I was like, I got a life insurance plan, man. He said, good. He said, listen, man, we love you, bro. We love you in Hyde Park. We love you in Chicago. The dinner here is free. Everything is good, man. I just want you to know we love you. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're thinking about your family. I was like, all right, man. So I went back to my table. I had some of the best macaroni and cheese I ever ate in my life. It was amazing. But I was like, man, this dude is right. How am I giving out millions of dollars a year and I'm living paycheck to paycheck? Right? And he was right about me being shot. I did get shot. And when I got shot, it was painful. And it wasn't painful me being shot. It was painful to see my daughter's face after I got shot. When my daughter saw me, she didn't say, oh, Dad, I'm happy you survived. That wasn't how she treated me. My daughter was like, I'm scared to be around you because I ain't trying to be shot. Like, that's a fair reaction by somebody 7 years old, right? I'm not trying to hang out with somebody who's been shot twice in the year. I'm scared, Dad, right? That's when I realized, gun violence just doesn't impact the person that gets shot. When I got shot, my whole family got PTSD, right? When JJ got killed in North Lawndale, the whole community got PTSD. When there's thousands of shootings in Chicago every year, the whole city of Chicago has PTSD, y'all. Here's the thing, you don't expect to be having a great day on the day you get shot. You don't, when I got shot, I was riding around listening to Lil Durk, right? I was like, man, I got roaches in my granny crib. That's my favorite song by Lil Durk. I don't know if y'all heard it, but I love that song, Granny Crib. I love a lot of Lil Durk songs, but Internet Sensation I like, Broke Up in Miami, but this one, Roaches in My Granny Crib, I love it so much. Not because my granny had roaches and nothing like that. That's not why I like it. I like it because I know what it's like to grow up in poverty, and my grandmother cooking for 21 cousins in a small kitchen, right? The kitchen was a living room, the kitchen was a dining room, the kitchen was everything. And I relate to the Lil Durk because he grew up in poverty. And all of the students in my program, like JJ, they love Lil Durk as well. We was listening to Lil Durk for the last 10 years, right? And so I was riding around, I was like, man, I got roaches in my granny crib. I came a long way from a mansion crib. I had roaches in my granny crib. It was a beautiful day. It was a great day. You don't expect to be walking out of a high school Just gave a motivational speech with a briefcase in my hand. You don't expect to be walking down the street, having just came from high school, and somebody to drive by and shoot you down. You don't expect that. Like, you know it's gonna be a surprise when you get shot. Like, you expect to be caught off guard. It's not like you're gonna be able to say, oh, well, shoot me on a Tuesday at 1 o'clock on the right side. You don't like that, right? Right? You know you're gonna be caught off guard. You know it's gonna be a surprise. But when it happens, your mind doesn't automatically associate those loud sounds. Your mind doesn't automatically associate that with gunshots. Not my mind, at least. Like, I'm not war ready. I'm not in the military. I didn't think those, the first time I got shot at, I heard tick, 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 and I was laying on the ground. The second time I got shot and hit my arm, I thought it was rocks kicking up from somebody's tires, and it was breaking windows on the highway. I thought a rock had kicked up and broke the window on a have you ever been driving and a rock hit your window? You're like, man, the rock just broke my windshield. I just bought this car, right? That's what I thought was happening. I actually looked at the minivan with empathy. I looked at it and said, man, bro, that sucks. I hate when that happened to me in a new car before. A rock kicked up and broke. I looked at the people that was shooting at me with empathy. If they would have shot me in my head or my neck, I would have died. I would have died thinking that a rock had ricocheted off somebody's windshield and killed me. You couldn't have told me they would shoot. It happened so fast, y'all. I didn't see anybody. I didn't have time to react. I didn't have the privilege to even flinch. By the time I heard the shots, I was already hit. It wasn't like in Boys in the Hood where Ricky was walking down the alley and Cuba Gooding yelled, Ricky! And Ricky looked up. The guy with the red hat pointed the shotgun at him, and it wasn't like that, man. I didn't have the privilege to flinch. It wasn't like in Malcolm X when the guy walked down the aisle, he was like, get your hands on my pocket. Malcolm looked at him and smiled, and then I didn't have the privilege to even flinch. By the time I heard the shots, I was already hit. A lady had to look at me. She was like, man, you just got shot. I was like, I didn't get shot. This is rocks kicking up. She's like, no, somebody shot you. I looked at my body and my arm, it was all orange. The blood wasn't even red yet. She's like, somebody shot you. I was like, I got shot? And then I dove to the ground. Like 10 seconds later, I had a delayed reaction, y'all. You ever seen like a video of a hunter killing a deer? The deer's minding his own business, eating the food. He hears loud noise, looks up, then goes back to eating and drops dead. That's how it was with me. I didn't know I was hit. I didn't have the privilege to flinch. The first time I got shot, I was walking out of a school. Just gave a motivational speech. My sister FaceTimed me. I'm on the ground. Boom, 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 on the ground. The second time somebody shot me in the arm, I didn't know I was hit. The third time that I got shot at, I was walking down 53rd Street in Hyde Park in a broad day. Somebody pulled out an AK and just started shooting, y'all. I dove. And this time I knew it wasn't firecrackers this time. I knew it wasn't rocks kicking up this time. I knew it wasn't, y'all. Not because of the sound. I knew it wasn't rocks kicking up because how scared I was. When my soul jumped out my body, that was like, man, I felt this before. I was having a good day. I was like, I've been here before. My soul jumped out my body. I dove underneath the car. When I looked up from the car, guess where I was at? I was right in front of the restaurant where the guy invited me to eat just a year ago. And he gave me free food. He said, I'm worried about you. I got up, they shot out all his windows. I can't make this up, y'all. I got up, they shot out this is Virtue Restaurant right in Hyde Park, y'all. I'm laying on the street, hiding underneath the car in front of Virtue. The guy just invited me to eat. Like I tell y'all, like, after all these shootings, somebody in Lakeview reached out to me. They said, Jahmal, we want to get you a bulletproof vest. We're going to raise some money to get you a bulletproof vest. I was like, nah, thank you for the gesture, but I don't want one. They said, why not? I said, I don't want one unless everybody in Chatham can get one. I don't want a bulletproof vest unless you buy one for everybody in North Lawndale. But send me a size large, though. I was not gonna lie. Send me a size large. Nah, I'm just joking. Send me one of them vests that Lil Durk be wearing, one of the fashionable ones. It's crazy, y'all. Like we're marketing death. Like people wearing fashionable bulletproof vests, the level 3 ones. If you drive by funeral homes in Chicago, there's Louis Vuitton caskets and Gucci caskets. And I drove by the other day just to make sure they were selling the Louis Vuitton caskets. They had switched the Louis Vuitton caskets out for Basquiat caskets, y'all. Next week, they're going to have the Fendi caskets because they want to match the Cat Williams interview they tell. I was like, come on, this is crazy, bro. We're going to be making Fendi caskets. We are marketing death. It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy. I say this on Martin Luther King Day, not to, I say it on Dr. King Day, not because King got killed by this lunatic with a rifle. I say it because it's hard to run a nonprofit organization in Chicago. It's hard, y'all. It's hard when you don't got no money and you ain't coming from no money. It's hard when your home going into foreclosure and you're trying to take kids on field trips, right? It's hard when you get shot and your kids are scared of you. Why don't you just move, right? It's hard. It's hard to stay in Chicago when you're an activist getting shot at, right? But on them days when it's really hard, I think about Dr. King. And Dr. King, man, I used to look at his videos. I used to look at all of his YouTube videos and stare in the eyes. Like when he was saying, I've been to the mountaintop, I used to look in his eyes like, man, is he telling the truth? Had he been to the mountaintop? Every time he convinced me he had been to the mountaintop. But he said, Dr. King said, like anybody, I want to live a long life. He said, longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned with that now. I want to do God's will. I was like, man, that was powerful. And I think about Dr. King because everybody didn't rock with Dr. King, man. Everybody didn't support him when he was alive. They celebrate King Day. They wasn't supporting him when he was alive. Man, when he said, hey, I want to do a Montgomery bus boycott, everybody was like, man, you want us to not ride the bus for a year? You know I got to work third shift. I'm wearing heels. My feet hurt. I can't not ride the bus for a year, Dr. King. Everybody didn't support Dr. King when he was in Birmingham in jail. When he showed up in Birmingham to do the march against segregation, they didn't. You want us to come to another march? Dr. King had haters, y'all. Just read the letter from Birmingham jail. He had haters. And he addressed his haters. He was like, man, he did it smooth too. He said, if my secretaries addressed, he had two secretaries. He said, if my secretaries addressed all the haters I got on Instagram, we wouldn't have no other time to do nothing in a day. That's how he started his letter from Birmingham jail off. He said, if my secretaries had time to address all my haters, I wouldn't have enough time to do nothing else in a day. But he said, you right. Y'all right. I'm not from Birmingham. You right. But the Apostle Paul wasn't from Greco-Rome when Jesus sent him to Rome. You think when he showed up in Rome, they said, oh, man, you ain't even from Rome. Don't even help us. You think when Jesus was from Bethlehem, you think when he showed up in Nazareth, I mean, you ain't even from Nazareth, Jesus. You ain't even from Chicago. Don't help us. Dr. King addressed them. He said, I mean, I love you guys, and I'm showing up to speak the unpopular truth, right? That's how I feel is when you're running a nonprofit. You're speaking a lot of unpopular truths, y'all. But as I laid down on the ground thinking I was going to die in an alley, and somebody shot me right here on the left side of my head, like, as I was laying down thinking that I was going to die, I thought about, man, I was cool with dying. I was cool with it. I was like, man, you know, because I've walked my purpose. I don't know if I'm right all the time, but I know I'm trying. I'm trying to get kids to college, y'all. I don't know if I'm right about helping all the migrants all the time, but I know I was trying to get them clothes. When you in Pilsen helping out the migrants, you don't care what the people saying, because them babies ain't got no coats. I know I've been trying, y'all, to get kids to college. I've been trying to hang holiday lights in places. Y'all was good with dying that day, because I know I've been trying, right? And I want to share that on King Day because man, I feel like I want to JJ. All right, give me a second. All right, I'm just thinking about the stories that I hear. This March on Madison is not to change. I don't want to introduce any new legislation. I don't want to fix any potholes in any legislation. I just want people to share their stories. We're marching because we want awareness. The most powerful people in the country are going to be at the United Center, and they're going to be charged with selecting the next leader of the free world. We want them people in that stadium to know that nonprofit organizations in Chicago, like the Happiness Club, like Jumpin' Juniors, like My Block, My Hood, My City, we are working our tails off to reduce gun violence in Chicago. Y'all might think that what we do is small. Y'all might think that hanging holiday lights is, oh, that's just hanging holiday lights. No, we're letting the residents of the west side and south side of Chicago know they're not forgotten, and they're part of the fabric of this city. Y'all might think it's small when we're taking kids on field trips. Y'all might think that's small, but that's a proven anti-violence strategy. When you show kids better, they do better. Y'all might think it's small to start block clubs and connect neighbors, but when you connect people, they're safer. The more connected you are, the safer you are, the happier you are, the healthier you are, right? That's a proven anti-violence strategy. So you don't have to be a president to make a difference. You don't got to be a senator to make a difference. You can start riding your block. So we're going to march down Madison. Right, we're going to march down Madison and let them know that we need partners in federal government to help out nonprofit organizations in Chicago. And we're going to do it because they're going to be here talking about gun violence. They're going to be here, they're going to be, oh, gun violence is a national issue, but it's not really a hot topic in Chicago. It's really not. So we're going to make picket signs. We're going to make picket signs today. Listen, y'all, express yourselves on them picket signs. Like, all I ask, you put whatever you want on them picket signs, but we're fighting for humanity. We're not fighting for Instagram. So be committed to the words you put on them signs. My favorite picket signs, they say equality for all. They say, I am a man. They say Jim Crow must go. Create whatever you want to create, but just know we're going to be holding them picket signs in August on the first day of the Democratic National Convention. And we're going to let the people in United Center know that these nonprofit organizations in Chicago deserve respect, they deserve aid, and we here, y'all. So thank y'all for coming out on King Day. I really appreciate it.